What is up, you beautiful people? This is Gary Horne, and this is the NWA, the show celebrating the past, present, future, history, legacy, and tradition of the greatest pro wrestling entity of all time. That's the National Wrestling Alliance. I feel like I have something in my mustache. I think it's from my drink. I have like a little drop, little water. Oh gosh, can we just start professionally one time?
You drinking milk?
Yeah. You know, I'm getting older, so I even have this like one streak right here in my mustache that just goes down. It's like snot. I don't know. I thought it was a booger, but it's not. Really get it?
It's a sinus infection.
No, is that what it is?
That sounds like the Omicron, man. That's what that sounds like.
Oh, is that what it is? All right. Well, those voices you hear are Wil Martin and Doc Stinson. Hey, guys.
Good evening.
What's up? And here we are at our normal time, 6:05, every Monday night.
Give or take 40 minutes or so.
I don't even know if anybody put out an advertisement for the show. I've sent a message to you guys like an hour and a half ago saying it just needs to be 6:30.
I know that we have our faithful that are in the chat. You haven't acknowledged them yet. I know you're probably about to, but the people that show up on time. So appreciate all you guys.
You're talking about Bobby and Nani McPoney and Polka Dot Pam and Devin connecting people through wrestling. You're talking about Dave Scooby. You're talking about Peyton over here. You're talking about referee James Lawrence in the chat. Yeah, you're talking about all those guys.
They're pre-gaming. They come in here. They get ready. They start to feel the crowd, the audience. They make their way over to the bar. They they mingle and miss while the band shows up fashionably late. We're basically Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. Devin Dowling in the chat too. So I don't want to miss anybody. Thank you for everybody who was here on time. Sorry about that. For some reason, something wasn't working properly. We had to get that straightened out. Hulk Hogan's mustache is in the chat. It's so let me tell you something, brother.
Oh, brother.
It's so good to see you. Anyway. So thanks to everybody for hanging out. Big news today in honor of my t-shirt, or my t-shirt's in honor of the big news. I got the beautiful Bobby t-shirt on because if you like tag teams, the Crockett Cup official announcement went out today. And, well, I'm excited.
It's back. The NWA presents the return of the Crockett Cup Tag Team Tournament live on pay-per-view from the historic Nashville Fairgrounds Saturday, March 19th and Sunday, March 20th. 16 teams, 2 nights, 1 massive event. Scheduled to appear are NWA World Tag Team Champions La Rebellion, the Briscoe Brothers, the British Invasion, Strictly Business, and many, many more. Tickets go on sale Friday, February 4th at noon at NWATix.com. That's NWATix.com.
Well, and there you have it. There's the Crockett Cup. And so obviously you knew the tag champs had to be there, right? La Rebellion, Mecha Wolf, and Bestia. You saw the British Invasion is going to be back. Strictly Business is going to be there. That's all awesome. And how about that announcement that the Briscoes are coming back to the NWA and are also going to be here for the Crockett Cup?
It's a big deal. This is like Christmas for me, man. You guys know. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's big time, man. I think as long as we've been doing this, when we get to the subject of tag team wrestling, inevitably the name of the Briscoes come up. So I'm a huge fan. I expect them to go far. They might even win this whole doggone thing.
Oh man, last time around, if you remember in 2019, the Briscoes were involved in that one, and they were well on their way, just destroyed the Rock and Roll Express, and were making their way to the finals, and just along the way got a little rambunctious in the middle of the ring, and ended up getting that DQ. I think is what ended up happening to them boys, but they're back. They're back this time around, and we're going to see what they do. I know a lot of people were looking forward to them.
Yeah, hopefully they're a few years older, a little wiser, maybe a more seasoned. And maybe this time going into this, they can kind of keep their composure enough. I know it's not in their style, but keep their composure enough to keep their eyes on the prize. And the prize is the most prestigious trophy in tag team history. Aside from the championship belts held by La Rebellion, I can't think of a more coveted prize to hold that any tag team in the world would want than that Crockett Cup. laden in tradition and history. I'm talking about the Road Warriors. I'm talking about Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff. I mean, this cup right here says it all.
Yeah, if you're a tag team and you have any knowledge of wrestling and wrestling history, this trophy is one that you've always wanted on your shelf. So all of these traditional tag teams, you mentioned it, British Invasion, Strictly Business, Briscoes. I mean, these guys have been dreaming about it for years. And the Briscoes, I doubt they have a very short memory. So I'm pretty sure they remember 2019 and how that ended up. And I think they're going to do everything it takes to not end up in the same spot. So I think they're definitely one to look out for.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. So lots of stuff happening this week. We had a big Power Surge episode. You want to talk about tag teams? The Fixers took over Power Surge. And then also then we had a big tag team main event in the NWA USA, Strictly Business versus the British Invasion. So lots to get to today. I don't even know for sure where we should start. Just so much to talk about. I mean, obviously we're going to talk about the Crockett Cup because I want to hear from you guys that are watching who you'd love to see, who you expect to see, and we'll get more into that. We've got some special guests on tonight. They'll be on a little bit later, and so I guess if you didn't watch Power Surge, then you missed out on the Fixers taking over in beautiful 4K, and it looks something like this.
Oh, did you see that? Yeah, it was incredible. Anyways, we're back for segment 3 of Meet the Fixers special edition of NWA Power Surge. And we're the Fixers in phenomenal 4K. 4K. And this whole 4K stuff might be a little bit above your intelligence level or your pay grade. So let me... No, they're not stupid. They're our fans. You guys are... Let me explain it to you. It's a lot of high-definition lights, multicolors on the spectrum, and 4,000 vertical pixels arranged vertically, individually self-lit, so you see every chest hair. Oh my God, I do see every Stop! On Legursky and myself. You know what that reminds me of? The hair reminds me of a story. You know what? Yeah, like this. So I was in Chicago, right? And there's this thing with the Cubs and Wrigleyville and the curse of the goat, right? Yeah. So I was walking down Clark Street, right? You know, we're bar hopping. Yeah, I've got some side hustle going on for that businessman, right? And I see this broad, right? And she's walking a goat. Yeah, and I'm like, what? Yo! I'm like, are you cursed? Is that goat your boyfriend? And she just kind of looked at me and walked away. But anyways... Main event time! Main event time! Fixer! I was talking. You talked over me. You don't do that. You didn't hear. We talked. You don't talk over partners. Anyways, Fixers in 4K! In 4K!
So the Fixers in 4K. There you go. Every chest hair available. I know, Doc, you had to appreciate the discussion about the Curse of the Goat. And... it's not for everybody, I guess, but the Fixers, there they are.
It got me. I was so inspired. I went back to the drawing table, and I've got an idea, guys, for us. I'm talking about this is the thing that's going to put This Is Pro Wrestling over the top. Think about it. I want you to open your mind here. 5K.
5K.
I knew it.
5K.
Yeah, it's weird. I sort of, that makes sense. We should go for 5K. We'll do that on this show at 5K. And the way I played that clip, it makes us seem like we're the main event. So that's also nice, too. So Devin saying Wrecking Ball is a babyface too. I think the Fixers are their own thing, and I fully expect them to be in the Crockett Cup. It can't be the Crockett Cup without the Fixers, right? They got to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, so a lot of good stuff on that show. You had that Matty Rinkowski Kylie Ray match. If you guys saw that, that was incredible. That was a big match, and just all kinds of fun stuff there. You saw Rodney Mack make his in-ring debut in the NWA on that episode, and just lots to love. And of course, the Fixers took on Miggs and Fable Jake, and they kind of demolished those guys. So I kind of feel sorry for them. But anyway, Power Surge. If you guys caught that, it was a big deal. Also, NWA USA on Saturday at noon. Those shows. This had to be the best NWA USA yet, right? This was my favorite one.
Oh yeah, that main event. Come on.
Yeah, hard to beat. Strictly Business versus the British Invasion. I don't know why I just blanked. Anyway, so Strictly Business and the British Invasion took each other on, and that was an incredible main event. And just I was watching it by myself, just sitting in a room, and I popped big time for that matchup. That finish was incredible. And luckily, we were there and got a chance to run into Strictly Business right after that matchup. Sitting in the back with the British Invasion, a big victory over Strictly Business tonight. Nick Aldis and Doug Williams, welcome to the NWA.
You know something, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. After 28 years, to come to the oldest and most prestigious promotion in the world. And what better than to do it with my former tag team partner and multi-time world champion, Nick Aldis. Absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you.
Hey. Look, you guys know me. You guys know how much all of this means to me. The only thing in my career that means as much to me as my time in the NWA is my time under the learning tree of this man. So to be able to marry those two entities and then go out there and put on a tag team clinic, that's just gravy, baby. And I tell you this, I have a feeling this might not be the last time you see this little mini British Invasion reunion tour here in the NWA.
Absolutely, and just let me finish by saying, a pleasure to beat Strictly Business as well.
I made you, now we're going to beat you.
All right, big words there from Nick Aldis. Doc, he made them, and he's gonna take them apart now.
Well, that's what he'd like us to think, right? That he made them. I mean, I look at hold on. Sorry about that. I'm on daddy duty on Monday night, so this is I've got Petra P.S. Stinson over here working the production table. But yeah, that's what Nick Aldis wants us to think, that he made Strictly Business. Last I checked, Strictly Business has as much to do with Camille as it has to do with Nick Aldis. It has as much to do with Tom Latimer as it has to do with Nick Aldis. So, you know, I take exception with that.
Well, okay. I mean, you can, and I'll allow it. But let's see. Yeah, anyway, so Strictly Business with a big win there. Both of those teams, though, are going to be in the Crockett Cup, so you can imagine that Strictly Business is going to be looking for a measure of revenge against the British Invasion come time for Crockett Cup. Also, you're going to see Nick Aldis versus Tom Latimer coming up at Power Trip. That's going to be happening soon. And, man, I see Nick Aldis has got a busy month coming up. Do you see that? He's like taking on Chris Adonis, Tom Latimer, and Jonathan Gresham.
Yeah.
The day after Power Trip, right? It's like the 13th.
Yeah. He made a post
He may not
earlier.
survive. He may not survive to face Gresham.
Yeah, that's insane. So yeah, big month for Nick Aldis, and our champ has had a big month. How about that? Trevor Murdoch and Matt Cardona, the war of words that's been going on Busted Open Radio. There's a lot happening in the National Wrestling Alliance. Matt Cardona had some major words for Trevor Murdoch, and then of course Trevor Murdoch's response about Matt Cardona attacking his Twitter following and lack of verification, and then Trevor mentioning that this world title is the only validation he requires, that it doesn't matter about Twitter, that Matt Cardona dissing the NWA like he's been doing is also dissing Harley Race, Ric Flair, Nick Aldis, all of these names that have come before him. Doc, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, not so. I mean, if you listen to the entire Matt Cardona interview, you saw that he took time particularly to acknowledge the significance of the reign of Nick Aldis and the importance of the history and legacy and tradition of the National Wrestling Alliance. So I don't know which broadcast you were listening to or which one Trevor was listening to, but that's not the one that I heard.
Devin pointing out it's Cardona, yes, so we want to make sure we get that right. Matt Cardona is the name we're looking for there. All right. Well, another big debut on NWA USA we should talk about is the debut of Darius Lockhart. He ended up jumping in there and taking on Sal Renaro, who's been crazy as of late. So a vicious match to have to, begin your NWA in-ring career with. But Darius able to pull this thing off, and he advances in that junior heavyweight title tournament. We had a chance to catch up with Darius after the matchup. Standing in the back right now with Darius Lockhart, and honored to have you in the NWA, Darius, and a big win tonight, one step closer to the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship.
Absolutely. I told NWA that I was coming for one reason, and that was to fix that. And after tonight, the Intergalactic Soul is one step closer to doing that. The Honorable Brother is one step closer to doing that. The Revolutionary is one step closer to doing that. Darius Lockhart is one step closer to doing that, to fixing all the problems, all the issues, all the struggle, all the pain that the NWA has to offer. And guess what? We're going to get it done, baby. The junior heavyweight title is going to wrap right around this waist. And when it's all said and done, you all will know the name, Darius Lockhart. And I will fix it, brother. Come on, don't look so You just better smile, I'm going to fix it, all right?
Yeah,
Smile, I got you. I got you. Come on, we're in this together, brother.
All right.
Come on now.
Thank you. So Darius Lockhart in a good mood, and for good reason. He is advancing in that tournament.
I'm glad he cheered you up, Gary, because you were a little sulking that night. I remember that. I don't know what it was. You'd gotten a bad phone call from the wife or something.
Well, I'm happy today. I'm happy to be here. It's good to be back with you guys. That's what keeps me in a good mood.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if
sorry, you were serious?
Yeah, I was serious. Okay. So everybody following along, the junior heavyweight title tournament continues on NWA USA. As of right now, you know that Austin Aries is going to be taking on Luke Hawx in the next round. Kobe Carino versus Gary Horne. Aria Daivari now faces off against Darius Lockhart in the next round. And all of those men, whoever wins out of those matches, still has Homicide to look forward to in the final round. The wrestler, of course. I mean, Homicide. Just being clear there. So I don't know. Looking for predictions out there. Who do you guys think? I can tell you one guy who has predictions on his mind and is pretty confident about it. And that is one Mr. Austin Aries. And May Valentine had a chance to talk to him on NWA USA.
Joining me at this time is a very special guest, Mr. Austin Aries. Welcome to the NWA. I'd love to know what your expectations are for your upcoming semifinals match against Luke Hawx.
Do you want the long answer or you want the short answer?
Whatever you want.
The short answer is victory. Very simple. One objective when you're in a tournament, to win your match. Now, I know Luke Hawx. He's rough, he's tough, he's strong. But what he's not is he's not Austin Aries. I've been a world champion all over this industry. And now the championship that I have my sights on is the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship. I know a lot of people think at this stage of my career that I'm here to pass the torch to the next generation. But you got it all wrong. I'm not passing any torch to anybody. I'm going to see who's man enough to take the torch from my hand. And Luke Hawx, I don't think it's you.
Strong words from Austin Aries there.
Yeah, victory. That's what he says. He predicted the outcome, and it's one word: victory. And I don't know. We all saw him take on Titus in that qualifier match, and I don't know if anyone's in position to doubt his prediction there. The only thing I can throw in there is looking at the way that this tournament is breaking down. You got some serious names that are going to be in that finals, and probably to me, the one that's the most frightening would be Homicide. I wonder if Austin Aries has taken that into calculation when he's talking about victory ultimately and claiming that junior heavyweight championship.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. I mean, he's focused on the next match, which I respect, and but with any tournament, you got to kind of look past that and look on down the line and see who you're going to run in with. And I think you're right, Rob. I mean, Homicide, knowing that he's automatically going to be in that final, that four-way final, that's got to be in the back of his mind. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to be picking Homicide to take this thing all the way. And to his credit, I mean, winning that big gauntlet match at Hard Times 2, I mean, he doesn't have to worry about the actual tournament itself. I mean, I'm not putting down the fact that he won the gauntlet. But
right. I mean, I would propositionally, I would say you're right, Gary, that this, he's not going through the trouble of having to, face this top competition, this top junior heavyweight competition. I would say normally that would be the case, but it's not as though Homicide has been inactive. He's still active and he's still out there, working and wrestling and competing. And we're going to see him later on compete even more. But, out front, if the case were that Homicide, won that initial gauntlet, which is an unconventional way to advance in a tournament, but he does it and doesn't have to compete any further, that would give him the advantage. In this case, though, I don't know if that necessarily bears out just because Homicide is so active.
Yeah, and Roman, I see you in the chat. I would not count out Austin Aries. If you saw that matchup against Rhett Titus, he looked incredible in that match. So he's one of the men to beat for sure in this tournament. Speaking of, we talked about tag teams and other stuff, and somebody in the chat mentioning, can Luke Hawx pull up an upset? Kyle Davis had a chance to talk to him on NWA USA as well.
Joining me at this time, Luke and PJ Hawx RE. And Luke's, you have an upcoming qualifying match against Austin Aries. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Listen to that crowd. See, I'm not going to insult these smart fans and have to tell them how great of a technician Austin Aries is in the ring. Now, we're going to talk about the NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion.
Oh, come on. Why are we giving these idiots any more TV time? You want to have the honesty hour out here? Let me drop some truth bombs on you, PJ. You're just like Gary Horne. You think you have to follow your dad around like a little puppy dog to get any respect around here. But let me lay you in on a little secret. Ain't no one give you any respect around here.
Oh, yeah.
So if anyone should be taking the spotlight in the National Wrestling Alliance, it is the son of a heavyweight legend like Colby Corino. Oh, wow, we got a chair! George South got a chair!
George South ain't playing at all. My gosh. Can you blame him, though? Can you blame him?
Colby Corino screaming for the fixers.
See, exactly. The people saying, you deserve it.
You got to be careful when you turn your back. You got to have eyes in the back of your head.
Here come the fixers now.
Oh, no.
What is going on? Go right after Hawx RE.
Oh, boy.
After Luke, after PJ.
Oh, chaos.
Kyle, get out of there.
USA is nothing short of chaos sometimes.
Man, and the other thing too is like the significance of that. I don't know if this impressed you guys. There we are. We got Colby Corino coming out to interrupt an interview that Luke and PJ Hawx were giving, but they were there at the sacred desk. Evidently, it's not that sacred to George South where he doesn't come out and wield that steel chair against the back of Colby Corino. But all I could think is that George South with that chair, the back of Colby Corino, juxtaposed against that sacred desk. I love that scene.
Oh, like Caps in the chat saying Colby's truth bomb's hurt, but so does George South's chair. So, that's well said.
Clearly an axe to grind there. I mean, we heard it last week on NWA USA where George South interrupted Kerry Morton and Ricky Morton backstage and, asking Ricky, where were you when I was attacked and all this stuff. So, George South he's angry, and never underestimate an angry man with a chair. We'll just say that.
Well, since you brought it up, I mean, that's an excellent point. I mean, with the situation with Ricky Morton, and also we're seeing the fixers pop up all over the place, which leads me to the next segment where we actually saw the fixers and Ricky Morton have a showdown at one point on NWA USA this past week.
Please welcome one half of the Rock and Roll Express, the legendary Ricky Morton. Now, Ricky, your son Kerry has an upcoming match against Colby Corino. And I know Colby Corino is the son of Steve Corino, but is he as good as Steve Corino? And does he have what it takes to beat a Morton?
Well, you know, in this business, I don't care who you are. You can be beaten at any time in any place. But understand, Kobe, he's a second-generation wrestler. My son is a third-generation wrestler. I'm just looking forward to seeing the match because, you know, this is what the future holds in our wrestling business.
What's up, buddy? Hey, wait, whoa. No. Hey. Good time. Respect me. We're here to play nice. Tim Storm says we're playing nice. We're playing nice. Look. Mr. Morton, rock and roll. Rock and roll, yeah! Respect. We're here out of respect. Take it down a notch. Jeez. Look. We know, you know, all the old carny tricks the old guys used to do, so that's why we're here, to make sure, you know, the scales don't tip in the other Morton's favor. So we're here, you're here, got our eyes on you. But respect. Again, here. Put it there, buddy. Come on. Enough.
It seems like the Fixers have a vested interest in protecting Colby Corino. We'll have to see what happens next.
I guess I wanted to show that just because there's a lot to unpack with what's going on NWA USA right now. Fixers not making any friends. Colby, PJ, a rivalry that seems like it'll never end. Colby, Kerry Morton seems like a rivalry that is just starting up. We're talking about all these different generations of superstars. We've seen Ricky Morton face off with George South at one point. You got Luke Hawx in there. There's lots of family dynamic, lots of tag team dynamic, lots of junior heavyweight title dynamic. Just so much going on if you're not watching NWA USA at noon on Saturdays. It's pretty incredible show right now.
Yeah, it's a good show, and it's like you're saying, everything seems to be intertwined right now. I mean, you're seeing, you know, just like you mentioned, all these guys having beef with other guys who have beef with other guys, and it's like, you know, a lot of history, a lot of second, third generation wrestlers, and so I mean, yeah, NWA USA. If you like good Saturday morning wrestling and history, it's a great place. But it seems like, you know, Meet the Fixers was not just the theme on Power Surge this week. It seems like everybody has been meeting the Fixers lately, and they seem to be popping up almost everywhere, you know, whether they're defending Colby Corino or themselves. It's, you know, they're just kind of everywhere right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're hustlers and they're hustling. And so if you're a hustler and you really want to make an impression, you've got to be everywhere. I mean, I don't even know, like, we saw them show up at By Any Means Necessary with Colby Corino. A lot of us had questions. We see him a lot with Colby Corino, but Power Surge, I mean, I don't know that Colby Corino has the kind of pull to allow them to somehow circumnavigate the entire production crew in the NWA to get this special Meet the Fixers episode. So they're hustling. And I'm going to tell you, if you watch especially that second segment where they're talking about that backgrounds, these are deep guys now. These guys are deep. There's much more than meets the eye. I mean, we're talking about chicken waffles, hamburgers, you know, football. These guys are deep, and they're everywhere. They're hustling, and, you know, I like them.
Yeah, I mean, I could see like the superior intellect of Wrecking Ball Legursky as some of the quotations he gives us on NWA Power, NWA USA.
Stupid.
Yeah, exactly. So just I could see that etched in stone somewhere someday.
Yeah, it's like you know, you've got the maxims of Wrecking Ball Legursky right up there on the shelf against like the dissenting opinions of Justice Scalia or something like that. One of the great intellects in American history.
Yes, I think I have that one right over here.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, so let's see what else to talk about on NWA USA. We saw Darius Lockhart. We see this stuff. I mean, what's on everybody's mind right now in the chat? I'm just curious. We're just thinking about Daniel. I honestly haven't seen this promo. Did either of you guys see this promo? I saw him asking about Chris Danger. I honestly have not seen it, so I can't really speak to it.
Yeah, I'm seeing some chatter about it, but I've not seen it yet either. I need to do it after the show tonight.
Thank you, sir, for the comment about the shirt. Beautiful Bobby Eaton, represent. Yeah, Devin pointing out Mickey James. If you guys saw her this past Saturday in the Royal Rumble, as well as Melina. And so both those ladies, NWA regulars and making their appearance in WWE. They've been on Impact Wrestling. They're all over the place. They're legends for a reason. So, yeah, and good question. Media M5's asking, has Raven or anyone in the NWA yet revealed Raven's being there? Why he hates Storm so much for Storm's position? Has there been any discussion? I don't think there has. I think Raven just kind of showed up. Now we know Raven's been working a little bit in the back as a producer in the National Wrestling Alliance, but why he's decided to take a special interest in Tim Storm's job, I'm not sure. I guess he just feels like he has the experience and the qualifications to have that same position. It doesn't quite understand why Tim Storm's there. So when you see like a scuffle, a kerfluffle, if you will, like we did at the Sacred Desk, that yeah, I mean, you saw Raven right there alongside Tim Storm when Tim Storm was getting in there. And I gotta say, just to throw this out there, we haven't mentioned this yet, but while we're talking about that, and actually this is a good point to even bring this up, and we could talk a little bit about Tim Storm and Raven, because one of the other things that's been going on, I've seen a lot of people online have an issue with, is this Natalia Markova situation. I know, Caps, you're a huge fan watching right now of Natalia Markova, regularly commenting on Natalia Markova. Who could blame you? But she had a chance to show up with Raven at the podium with Kyle this past week, and they talked about Kenzie Page, and well, Kenzie was suspended by Tim Storm.
That's right, Joe. I do have breaking news. We just found out that Tim Storm has decided after the events that took place to suspend Kenzie Page. And fittingly enough, joining me at this time is Raven and Natalia Markova, who was involved in the situation that caused that suspension.
Yes, and I think that was a smart decision. As for Kenzie, honestly, I don't think she even belongs in the ring with me. Come on, look at me. I have this look. I'm a model. This girl is just jealous. She's not on my level. No, don't interrupt me. I didn't say everything. Kenzie is just a mediocre, whatever, garbage. Honestly, I feel bad for her. I feel bad for this girl. She needs some work. But whatever. That was a good decision. I agree.
Speaking of decisions that agreed upon, Raven, as of late, you haven't exactly agreed with the decisions Tim Storm is making. So let's just ask the question. If you were in his position, what would you have done?
It doesn't matter because I wasn't in his position. I would never be in his position because I would make the right decision. Tim Storm is Shut up. Tim Storm is a degenerate. He's an ignoramus. He's a buffoon. He makes all bad decisions. Tim Storm obviously paid these people to be here. Look, Tim Storm has no business being here. He should be in a jail or a halfway house, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm glad you had that opinion. Other people have had opinions. I'm seeing the two of you together, and I have to ask, is there something we don't know about going on between the two of you?
Listen, this is my new friend. But of course, when you see somebody like me, you have those questions. So I need to answer it right away. For you and for anybody else who's wondering, I have a daddy at home who takes care of everything I need. My money, my vacations, diamonds, jewelry, cars, whatever I want. So that's the answer. And guys, don't even try.
We're going to go to break on that. Sugar Daddy.
Her father. She's clearly talking about her father, right?
Right. I didn't hear a word she said, man. All I heard was, will I had the time of my life, and I never failed. That's all I heard, man.
Well, okay. Anyway, that's so that's the situation going on there. We'll talk more about Tim Storm and everything a little bit later, because I want to jump in and discuss the Crockett Cup a little bit more if we can. For those who missed it earlier, the Crockett Cup is going on. It's coming back in March, and we'll show you a little video here. And when we come back, we'll have some special guests for you guys.
It's back. The NWA presents the return of the Crockett Cup Tag Team Tournament live on pay-per-view from the historic Nashville Fairgrounds Saturday, March 19th and Sunday, March 20th. 16 teams, 2 nights, 1 massive event. Scheduled to appear are NWA World Tag Team Champions La Rebellion, the Briscoe Brothers, the British Invasion, Strictly Business, and many, many more. Tickets go on sale Friday, February 4th at noon at NWATix.com. That's NWATix.com.
All right. Well, the Crockett Cup is coming back. You guys know that now, and the tickets go on sale on Friday. And you can't talk about tag team wrestling, the historic Crockett Cup, anything involving tag teams in the NWA, if you don't talk about our guests right now. And they are Basia, Say, and Mecha Wolf, La Rebellion. We'll even wear the La Rebellion shirt there. Welcome, guys.
Thank you guys for having us. Thank you so much. Really excited to be here. I actually try to watch the show at least every week and try to keep up with you guys. So you guys have been doing great work, and we're really glad to be here today.
Hey, thanks so much, guys. We really
Muchas
appreciate
gracias.
it. Yeah, we're honored to have you guys. You're the NWA World's Tag Team Champions. And it looks as though, based on this, you guys are entering the Crockett Cup as well. This is a historic tournament. And it's awesome to see the champions actually in this tournament, and some stiff competition already. You got the Strictly Business, British Invasion, and the Briscoes already announced.
Yeah, it's obviously a tournament that is synonymous with tag team wrestling, and you can't have a tag team tournament without La Rebelion. So we're very excited. We are ready to prove that everything that we've been saying in every single show and every single pay-per-view is true. We believe it and we say it, and whenever we say it, we believe it 100%. So we're more than excited to see every team that's going to be there. There's a lot of teams that haven't been announced, but I'm ready to tango with some of the best in the world, and they're coming to the NWA. And what better way to close out, this chapter than maybe to bring home the Crockett Cup. So what do you think? How do you feel?
Well, I'm super excited. First of all, I was very excited at the very moment when I talked to Mecha that we were going to be part of NWA. It was such an honor. And then now we're the champions. We're the World Tag Team Champions. And now we're part of the Crockett Cup. So what else can I say? We've been proving that we're the best. So we have the Briscoes, we have the British Invasion. Can't wait to hear about the other tag teams. But I think I don't think
we know.
We know. Vamos a ganar. We're gonna win this.
Is there oh, go ahead, Will.
Yeah, so last time we heard from you guys on NWA Power, you guys were having a backstage conversation with the OGK. So the OGK we have not heard officially. We can assume because they're part of the NWA, they're a tag team, they're going to be a part of the Crockett Cup. Are you guys hoping to maybe settle some business with them and to see their name pop up in the Crockett Cup?
The OGK is one of those teams. They're definitely in the list of guys that we want to beat. Not because we just want to beat them, but because we need to beat them to prove a point. The point is that we're the greatest tag team of all time because we hold the NWA World Tag Team Championships. Nobody else can claim that because we have those belts. Until somebody takes that from us, nobody can say that they're the best team. So the OGK came from Ring of Honor, and they came straight to the NWA looking for the greatest tag team championships in history today. We're ready. We're ready for them. We're ready for everybody. We just want to prove to the world that we are the best. When we say it, we believe it, and we're going to prove it. And if we have to do it in the Crockett Cup, we'll do it there. And if the OGK's standing across from us, we're going to do what we do to every other team. We're just going to win, figure out a way to win, whether it takes what it takes, whether it hurts our bodies, we destroy our bodies. The final goal is to walk away with the belts and to walk away with that cup. And if the OGK is the first team that we got to face, we're ready.
First of all, really appreciate you guys coming out here. You guys know that we respect the world out of you. We constantly talk about you. And I think because you hold those trophies and the impact that you've made in the NWA, you guys are now universally respected. I don't hear a lot of people out there like denigrating or shortchanging you guys, your ability and your skill. Thinking about the Crockett Cup and the history that it represents, the very first tag team to win this championship the trophy was the Road Warriors. They won it in 1986. Very fitting because many people called them the greatest tag team of all time. You guys on every occasion say that you are the greatest tag team of all time. And in our conversations that we've had personally before, we've talked about some of the similarities, the intimidation, obviously the aesthetic. What would it mean for Mecha Wolf and Bestia 666, for La Rebellion? What would it mean for your legacy to capture this trophy and add it to your collection, to add it to your accolades?
It will mean the world to us. Like I said, we're representing all Latinos in the world. So, like you said, the Road Warriors, look what they've done in the past. But we don't want to be the next Road Warriors. We want to be La Rebelión.
Queremos ser La Rebelión. We want to be La Rebelión. We want to be the first team of a Puerto Rican and a Mexican to win that Crockett Cup. And we already made history by winning the NWA World Tag Team titles, by being the first Puerto Rican and Mexican born in America, born in Puerto Rico, born in Mexico, that has held those belts. To us, it's a big honor. To us, it's a big privilege to be able to go all over the world facing all the best tag teams and say that we come from the NWA. And we represent this company with a lot of pride. So it will mean so much to us just to even be named in the same breath as the Road Warriors, because I know if they were here with us today, alive and breathing and still kicking, they will see a team like La Rebelión, and I feel like they will see a little bit of themselves in us, because we not only carry ourselves the way we do, but when we go out there, we bring it. We talk a lot of big game, but we back it up when we get up there. It don't matter the size of the guys that are across of us. Usually they're always bigger than us, but we figure out a way. We're a unit. We're a really well put out unit, well-oiled machine, as they say. And we have proved it for many, many years, and we will continue to do so. And the Crockett Cup is that moment that we've been waiting for, to prove it to the people in the NBA, but to prove it to every single team that is good around the world.
I saw Devin in the chat here asking, this is just based on what you guys were just talking about, the heritage situation and everything. So that may be the answer here, but they were asking if everything's to be believed, you guys, you've had some connection with Homicide here in the past, and it looks, I think, with this upcoming Team War situation that William Patrick Corgan's talking about, it looks like you're going to have some more connection with Homicide in the future. So is there a special connection you guys share, or how do you know Homicide? What's that relationship?
We know him for years. Mm-hmm. Very good friend of us, good mentor, a living legend. We don't know exactly. We're gonna continue to actually be a team, but if we do it, you know what happened in the past. You know what happened to.
We're undefeated as a trio.
Yeah, exactly.
We're undefeated as a trio right now.
Yeah, and hopefully we can do that not only in the NWA but all over the States, all over Mexico. Actually, I think we can make it happen in Tijuana, right?
We can make that happen. And yeah, man, like I said, like he said, Homicide is more like not only a partner, but he's like also like a mentor. Backstage, out there in the ring, he teaches us a lot. And we're really excited to be with him and to have him in our corner. And we're excited to be in his corner as well, because I believe that he will be the next NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion. So once we all have those belts, we're just going to continue to run this company.
Now, we know that you take everything that you do very, very seriously. Everything that you do is intentional and deliberate thinking about this tournament, 16 teams. We know 5 of them now, 5 or 6 or 4 or 5, something like that, right around that number.
There's no more than me.
Well, and that's the point. How do you prepare for a tournament where you don't know who's in it yet? Like and I'm sure by the time we get there, but right now, mentally, you guys are probably already training and preparing, watching the tape, studying the film, doing what you got to do to get yourself where you need to be to walk out. Of course, you believe that you are the best in the world, and I have to agree with you. I think you are too. But how do you prepare to go into a tournament? Here we are a month out or so, a month and a little bit more. How do you prepare where you only know a portion of the teams that you're going to face going into this?
We don't prepare.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. We're always ready.
We're always ready. I train every day. I'm crazy about this because every single thing that I do is to get and stay ready at all times for any team, for any type of adversity that is put in our way, for whatever type of roadblock is put in our way. It doesn't matter. You guys have seen it at the past pay-per-views. They have brought big guys, medium-sized guys, you name it, we put them down. They might have the strength to beat us, but they're too weak to take that from us, and they won't take it from us, and nobody will take it from us because we say what we do and we do what we say. We are the best tag team of all time, so we don't have to get ready like all those other teams. Oh, they need to prepare. They need to go train. They need to train this way. They need to train this way. His dad is a legend. It's a guy that's always in our ear. He's been in the business basically since he was in his mother's belly. And I've been in the business for a long time as well. And I know that the guys that stay on top don't prepare. They stay ready. And we are ready.
Yeah, no one, I don't think there's a tag team in that tournament who is like La Rebelion. If there's high flying lucha, we can do that. We can do chain wrestle. We can do brawl. We pretty much can adapt to hardcore. We can adapt to any style. So I think we have a good advantage on the other teams.
Jason in the chat mentioning that he saw you guys win the tag titles at Crash. And
oh wow,
also,
that's awesome.
Yeah, also that he's rooting for you, Basia, at Pro Wrestling Revolution. He said to tell you that. And also asking if you guys have any plans to bring Ray Horace into the NWA. Is that a name you guys are familiar with bringing in around to where you go?
Yeah, that's to
mi compadre.
His your son's godfather, right?
No,
You're his daughter's or son's godfather.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever you might call that. They're basically family, you know, we're all like family, and we would love to have them in the NWA with us. I believe we need some more mass luchadors, and Horace is one of the best ones in the world. And, you know, I think that he will fit in great, honestly.
Yeah. And it's also, he's part of La Rebelion in Mexico. Yep. In the Crash. So, and he's been in Ring of Honor. He's ready for NWA. Hopefully we can make it happen.
Billy.
I see the people mentioning that if they brought in 6-man tag titles, who you'd pick. I'd have to imagine it'd be Homicide, right? Like, you're already undefeated with Homicide. So
yeah, but man, if they bring in Horace, ooh, man, I'll be like picking between your best friend and like your other best friend. You know, like, what do you do?
I see a lot of people also mentioning the End. You guys have run into the End a few times now in the NWA, and so it seems like they might be your biggest rivals right now in the NWA. And then you guys have come out on top, I think, every time so far. What's it like facing them, especially the size difference between you two?
It's been 3 times, right? Because the first pay-per-view we did,
3 times.
They were there. Mm-hmm. We won the match, and then
we had the singles tag match that went like no contest, and then we wrestled. We wrestled at one of the last episodes of Powerrr, and then we wrestled the pay-per-view. So technically, it'd be 4 times.
4 times. So
yeah,
can we say they're not competition to us?
I think La Rebelion is the end for the end. I said it earlier. They're strong enough to have it all, but too weak to take it. at the end of the day, you know, they stand across from us and they say, size matters. Yeah, size matters. Maybe in the bedroom, but in pro wrestling, when we are across from each other, I don't care how big you are. I don't care how strong you are. If I have to bite your hands off, I will bite your hands off. I will fight till the day I die for those titles, because we worked really hard just to even get close enough so we were noticed by the NWA. And then we worked extra hard so we could earn those titles. And there is not a team in this world, and I'm telling you right now, man, I don't care who it is, they're going to have to kill us if they're going to take those belts. The End, OGK, British Invasion, the Briscoes, we don't care. We're ready. Line them up. We'll put them down.
I'm curious to ask, and I want to take you guys out of the equation for a second, because we're going to grant that you are the champions and you're the greatest in the world. But we hear a lot of conversation in our conversations in our chat about where the NWA tag team division rates in the world. And you look at the competition, you got guys like the teams like the N, the OGK, British Invasion. Now with the Crockett Cup, bringing in teams like the Briscoes. I'd like to hear your assessment on the state of the NWA tag team wrestling and where they rate in the world in this really, you know, apart from in the history of the sport, you got the singles championship and the tag team championships. They've always been there, co-equally important. The NWA trophies that you wear are the most important in the world. What is the state of the tag team division?
To me, in my honest opinion, and I could say this with all the confidence in the world, we have the best tag team division right now in any company. We take tag team wrestling seriously. We follow the rules how you should follow the rules in tag team matches. And the history of those belts, they speak for themselves. You know, the Road Warriors, the Rock and Roll Express, you know, Ricky Steamboat, you know, like there's so many names that had these titles that we could just have a whole different podcast on just the people that held these belts and why they mean what they mean. You know what I mean? So I think that you have teams like the Fixers. They're a great unit. You know, you have the End. They're awesome. They tore all over all Japan. You know, you have the OGK who just showed up. You have the Briscoes that's coming in. You have
Father and Son.
You know, Luke and PJ, great tag team. You have Strictly Business. Now you have the British Invasion. Like, we could keep naming tag teams from the NWA, and every single one of those teams that you put out there, they bring it. Aaron Stevens and JR Kratos, you know, it's a big honor for us to be able to say that we were the guys that knocked them off the top, and they are a great tag team. So, you know, I know that not all the teams for this cup have been announced, but just with some of those teams that I just mentioned right there, you could have a main event, you know, a main event card anywhere in the world. You put all those teams out there and they'll give you a main event card, main event matches. And I'm not just saying that because I'm part of this company. I'm saying that because I really believe that we do have the best tag team division, and it shows every time any of our teams go out there. And that's just taking us from the equation, taking us completely out of the equation. Before we even showed up to the company, the tag team division was one of the best in the world. And now you have the best tag team in the world. So I believe that, honestly, we have the best tag team division. Yeah.
I love that answer. I got to ask, we appreciate your time. So taking all those teams you just mentioned, you talk about the OGK, you talk about the Fixers, you talk about we know British Invasion are going to be in the tournament, Strictly Business is going to be in the tournament, the Briscoes are going to be in the tournament. Let's see, I'm trying to think of everybody. Hawks RE, you've mentioned Kratos and Stevens. There's somebody in the chat's mentioning Jordan Clearwater and All Day Marche Rocket and
the Dirty Sexy Boys too.
The Dirty Sexy Boys.
Yeah. The Ill Begotten.
Ill Begotten, yeah, and the Rude Dudes, all these teams in there. If you guys, just for your personal preference, round one, you got to go up against somebody. Do you have a team that you'd love to face off with?
See what you think first.
Honestly, I don't care. I mean, I just want to go. I just want to prove that we're the best. But if I have to pick someone to wrestle first, I think Briscoes.
Briscoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That was exactly what I was gonna say. We didn't plan or anything, but it's exactly what I was gonna say because I think what better way to start the tournament than to knock off one of the best teams in the tournament.
That makes perfect sense.
We'll see
now
what happens.
this may be an offensive question, Wolf, but referee James Lawrence wants to know: are you a Danzig fan?
Not at all, man. Not at all. I have a mini little collection there, worth like $50,000 probably or something like that.
I was about to say, follow you on social media, James. You'll see how big of a fan.
Danzig is a huge wrestling fan too, a friend of mine. So, yeah,
that's cool.
You listen to any Lamb of God?
A little bit. It's in my playlist. I seen them once. They were opening for Slayer once. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, just for my personal interest too, what happened to that beard, man?
Man, too many beards. Right now, I'm seeing 3 of them. I got to the locker room last set of tapings, and I'm like, what's causing all this? Everybody has a beard now, so I'm just gonna switch it up a little bit for a while. See what happens.
We started that trend.
Yeah, that was
I don't
us.
know.
Yeah.
the winter cold makes you.
Let's see if the other wrestlers copy
Now
your
everybody
style.
just shaves.
'Cause I don't know if you guys noticed, but every time, well, should I say this or not?
Say it.
Every time Mecha Wolf, he has a new entrance gear, someone else for other big company copies their style. His style. Now he's face paint. Now some guys from
Don't say it.
No?
From somewhere.
They do the same face paint. So
I think
we'll
I think
see.
I've
The
seen it.
originals are in the NWA, so
That's right.
that's all that matters.
I think everybody probably knows who you're talking about. So
that beard, man. That's a. I mean, you guys are already two of like the most handsome guys in wrestling. Period.
Now you're
without
making
the
it weird, dude. Now you're making it
Nah,
weird.
nah, I'll call a spade a spade. I'll call a spade a spade. But now, Mecha Wolf, you look like you could be the next like Abercrombie model, man. Without that beard, you look like you're 22 years old, man.
I'm trying to go for a new look. Come on, man. Don't ruin my what is it? My cred, my street cred.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, we'll take time for one more question. We'll let you guys go. For anybody who's just learned about you in the NWA and weren't familiar with you outside of the NWA, Devin in the chat was asking, is there a match that you're really proud of outside the NWA that could like YouTube or something and see you guys in action?
Honestly, I really enjoyed the very first match that we had. And the first pay-per-view on our Shadows Fall, because it was a match that we needed to prove a statement, and we were able to come out victorious in that match. Other than that match, the match that we won the tag team titles in St. Louis at the Chase, man, that will be the one match that I was like, if you wanted to see what we're all about, check out that match.
That was a moment, man. That was a big moment.
It was really special to us, and it was even cooler that we had Conan there too, because he's like our wrestling uncle. So that was really cool too, to have him out there, you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, Basia, Mecha Wolf, thank you so much for coming on. We won't take any more of your time. We appreciate you. Wish you luck in the Crockett Cup and any future stuff you've got going on NWA Powerrr. I think people that are watching Powerrr are going to be seeing a lot more of you coming up here pretty soon in some of the six-man action that's going to be happening. So thank you guys again for showing up.
Muchas gracias, amigos.
Thank you for having us, guys, and I'll see you guys in a few weeks, right? A few months, and a month.
Yeah,
and a little bit.
it's coming up.
And change.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us again, guys.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, well, there they go. That is the NWA World Tag Team Champions. Why you do that?
What's going on? What's going on?
I don't know.
All
man.
right, stuff, man. Gosh, I mean, I just get a thrill talking to. I mean, even you know, you get a thrill talking to any of these guys that are wrestling royalty, you know, that are the best in the world at what they do, whether it be Trevor Murdoch or Nick Aldis or La Rebellion, Chris Adonis, anybody who holds a championship trophy in the NWA, they're at the top of their game and they're among the greats in the world, at least right now. And it's very humbling to have them give us so much time and just to let us into them, because normally, you know, when you see these guys, they're intense. They're in the mind frame to go in there and obliterate whatever they see. So to see them be able to peel back some layers and let us into their headspace a little bit, very humbling.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, anytime we can have that conversation, which we have all the time, almost weekly on this show, just about the state of the tag team division. But it's cool to hear from the guys at the top of the mountain that they feel the same way, that the tag team competition in the NWA is second to none. And I still don't even think we mentioned all the tag teams that are part of NWA or could be a part of something like the Crockett Cup or the NWA. So I mean, it's just a great time to be a fan of tag team wrestling, and those guys being the flag bearers for tag team wrestling. It's a great time.
Man, until I started trying to name it there in that last question, I was just like, this team, you know, who do you want to face in the first round? I was like, good God, there are so many teams in the NWA.
And we're sitting there talking about teams for you know 5 or 6 minutes, and then you know, Mecha Wolf throws out the most obvious team of all, Kratos and Stevens. Like, my gosh, right. how you know, and that may be next to La Rebellion, that might be the most lethal team in the NWA. That speaks, and I hate that it took, you know, that many minutes to get around to them, but that speaks to the depth of this division and how great tag team wrestling is right now. I know that for Wil, this is Wil's golden age, man. I mean, he's in heaven right now.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, you know, and that's the crazy thing is, like, I think the reason it took us so long to get to Stevens and Kratos is, even though that they were the former tag team champions, they were the ones that held the belts before La Rebellion. They aren't a traditional quote unquote tag team in the sense that they don't have a name, you know, like La Rebellion or The End or Hawks Airy or Dirty Sexy Boys or whatever. But they're just as lethal, as you're saying, as any of those tag teams. So, you know, it's not a cookie cutter tag division, you know what I mean? Where all the tag teams are the same and you could just pick any two teams. I mean, you can pick any two teams and it'll be a great match, but there's just so much depth there. And even in that conversation, talking about, you know, kind of reliving in my head the matches he was mentioning between La Rebellion and The End. I mean, you've got two opposite style tag teams that go in there and have absolutely incredible matches. And, you know, you could do that with any two teams in the division. And that's what we're going to see at the Crockett Cup. And that's why, you know, especially with that announcement today, tickets go on sale Friday. Man, I'm going to be first in line for that, because this really is my Christmas. You guys know me and where I stand on professional wrestling. This is going to be me on the front row, like it's my birthday or something. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. And, you know, it's funny, as we were sitting there talking, I saw, you know, Chucky in the chat mentioning 6-man tag belts. And I even think I just saw, like, Devin mentioned the U.S. tag belts and all of these things. And normally my first response is like, there's no more belts. We've got too many titles. But I guess if you were gonna throw another title in there, one of these other tag titles could work, because there are so many tag teams in the NWA.
I would say in the landscape of pro wrestling right now, the NWA is probably the one place that would work, to have multiple tiers of tag team belts right now, because, like I said, the competition is just so deep. And, you know, right now everyone's laser focused on the Crockett Cup from now until March, and then those tag team titles that, you know, it could work.
And let's not fail to mention, when we're talking about tag teams, let's not fail to mention, you know, the Hex too.
Oh yeah,
you know, when it comes to women's tag teams, and they're you know, they are, I think when you look at Allison Kay and Marty Bell on their own merits, two of the great women's wrestlers in the world today, and at the same time a natural tag team because they have history and longevity, have worked together for years. They can do both. They can go out and run, the singles gauntlet. Allison Kay, of course, a former holder, the very first holder of the Burke, actually. And then Marty Bell, has such an illustrious singles career. The two of them come together to form one of the great tag teams. And then, of course, you got Genocide and Pale Ablaze. If they can get their stuff together, would be a really great tag team. And, of course, everybody's favorite women's tag team right now, the Smiley Dragons. So you've got lots of depth, a well-rounded tag team scene in the NWA, and it's going to be more and more exciting. And I'm looking forward to some more women's tag teams showing up here in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be fun to see some more depth even coming into the women's tag division. The Hex, I mean, for a while there, they were defending that thing. It felt like every week, like they were keeping it going. Another thing we got to talk about, though, before we even get to Crockett Cup, NWA's got another huge show that's going down, and that is NWA Powerrr Trip. If you haven't already gotten tickets for that, they are available right now at NWATix.com, and you should definitely check out Powerrr Trip.
Wrestling fans, join us Saturday, February 12th, as the National Wrestling Alliance returns to Oak Grove, Kentucky for a special edition taping of NWA Powerrr that we're calling NWA Powerrr Trip. Scheduled to appear are NWA World's Heavyweight Champion Trevor Murdoch, NWA World's Women's Champion Camille, the National Treasure Nick Aldis, Tom Latimer, Smiley Kylie Ray, and many more. For tickets, visit NWATix.com. That's NWATIX.com.
All right, NWA Powerrr Trip coming up. A big event Saturday, February the 12th, 2022. Lots of stuff going on at that show. One thing we know for sure, in commentary, we're going to have Tim Storm, Velvet Sky, and Joe Galley. They're going to be there calling the action. This is going to be a big deal. And my understanding is it'll be released just like the last Oak Grove show on the as episodes of Powerrr. So just like normal. In that event, you're going to see matches like Chelsea Green taking on Kylie Ray. Smiley Kylie getting a big challenge here from the Hot Mess. That's going to be a fun match to see. Also looking forward to this grudge match, Rhett Titus versus Colby Carino. That's going to be a big one I'm looking forward to. Awesome action there. The OGK are going to be coming back to Oak Grove, Kentucky, and taking on the Fixers. Those guys have history, and in Oak Grove, where they both made their debut, as Will pointed out last episode. So things coming full circle for these guys in a Kentucky sweetheart brawl. No DQ, falls count anywhere. This is going to be a huge match. And I don't mean just because the Fixers are so big. You see what I did there?
I do. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of big, the big man Tyrus is leading a team alongside Austin Idol as Black G's All Day, Marche Rocket, and the Golden Boy, Jordan Clearwater. Idolmania Sports Management, in conjunction with Church's Money Enterprises, are taking on. Yeah, thank you.
Another tag team we haven't really mentioned much tonight is any combination of Idolmania.
Well, I did mention the Golden Boy and Marche. I did say that.
We did in passing. But.
And just looking at this graphic and these two teams, I wouldn't mind seeing Scion and Mims teaming up, maybe throwing their name in the hat for the Crockett Cup. That'd be a nice team.
That is not a bad idea at all, in fact. And then, of course, Alex and Rush there and the Ill Begotten. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Those that big 8-man tag, the women's title. We're talking about the Burke earlier. That's going to be on the line. Camille defending against Kira Hogan. That's, of course, if Camille's even the champion by then, because she has Kira Hogan waiting in the wings. So we're going to find out. But that women's title is going to be on the line against Taryn Terrell in Oak Grove, Kentucky. And big I Quit match made right here on this show, fellas. I got to say, Tom Latimer issuing the challenge. It was accepted. Nick Aldis has got a big February coming up. If he can even get through this day when he goes one-on-one with Tom Latimer, his former best friend. I Quit match. One of these men is going to say I quit, and I can't picture either one of them doing it. So
And,
that's
yeah, and we talked about this at length last week about the implications moving forward. Well, now that we have some clarity about what's coming in March with the Crockett Cup, and both of these men are going to be a part of that with their respective tag teams, the British Invasion and Strictly Business. Whatever happens in this match, now there's the possibility that they would have to come face to face again at the Crockett Cup. And so, this is going to raise those stakes even higher, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And-
hard to argue that.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Aldis has got a stat card ahead, a stacked month. Sorry about that. We got just when she just talks, I have to mute. But she, you've got this match. The very next day, he's going in against Gresham. Then I'm hearing that he's traveling to Poland again.
It's crazy.
This month. I mean, when does it stop for him?
Yeah. Big time for Nick Aldis. And is Tom Latimer going to be able to take advantage of all that's on Nick Aldis's plate here? And well, we're going to find out. Oak Grove's looking more and more stacked, and even more stacked. One reason why you tune into this show is because last week another challenge was issued, and it was accepted or made official by the NWA. The national title is on the line as Chris Adonis will be defending against Anthony Crimson Mayweather. That is a big match, fellas. That national title could be changing hands coming up on February the 12th.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And it's this is a statement for Anthony Mayweather. I mean, we heard him last week when he left you that voicemail that we played, that, he got a stern talking to from the national treasure, and it's kind of lit a fire in him. And so he's chosen to just go straight to the national title and request a match, and it was granted. And so, this is another one of those matches that, where do each of these guys go after this, regardless of the outcome? So it's going to be big implications no matter what happens.
Does feel like do or die.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mayweather understands the implications of this. He got the stern talking to by his good close friend Nick Aldis, who knows, if anybody does, about what it means to be a champion. But let's not just think that because he got the speech and because there's a stirring in his soul and now he's a little motivated, that somehow this, puts him in any position to take down Chris Adonis. Because I've said it, the two hardest men to beat in pro wrestling right now, Nick Aldis and Chris Adonis. I don't think we've seen Chris Adonis get beat yet, have we? I can't remember. Maybe we have, but if so, it's been so incidental that I can't remember it. So exactly, it's laughable. Just because you got a stern talking to, and that you have a fire in your soul, does not make you prepared to go into a contest for one of the most prestigious trophies, the second most prestigious trophy in the world, against Chris Adonis, who I think is now poised to step in there and take that 10 pounds of gold away from Trevor Murdoch.
Yeah, Polka Dot Pam not buying it. She's a big Adonis fan. Says Mayweather ain't taking that belt. And Roswell even backing that up. Feels the same way. That little speech ain't enough, he says. So, yeah, going to be Chucky pointing out, this is the man that uprooted a whole tree, Chris Adonis. So you don't mess with a guy like that. That strength is no joke. I mean, that's for real. Chris Adonis is a big bad man. He gets a lot of credit as for his showboat attitude, his luxurious ring entrance gear, all of those things. He's the masterpiece. He flexes a lot, but when he's in the ring, that's no joke. That's some real legit strength coming from Chris Adonis. And so I would definitely not want to be standing across from him, especially when he's got to defend that national title.
No, and we've all spent time with Adonis. We've had a chance to talk with him. All three of us have. And we know that apart from, what he does, the showmanship, the mental game that he plays out there, this is an athlete who understands his position. He understands his role and where he's heading. And he's very, very, very intentional about what he does. This is a very intelligent wrestler. Don't let the attitude and the panache fool you. This guy is a guy that can go with anybody, maybe even with Nick Aldis. And we're going to find out in Poland when Nick Aldis and Chris Adonis go head to head. Hopefully we'll get to see that.
Well, I hate to be the one that fact checks when it comes to history and stuff like that, the good doctor, but this may be my only chance to do that. The last time that we did see Chris Adonis lose was at Back for the Attack, and Trevor Murdoch was the one that handed him that defeat in a national title.
Right,
match.
but
So,
there are still
I'm just saying,
investigations.
you said, well, you just said, I don't know if we've seen him lose. We've seen him lose to Trevor Murdoch.
That is still under review.
Okay. All right.
Caps is asking about the Pope. Is he going to return soon? I would say, Caps, stay tuned. I've been hearing good reports on the Pope, just on the NWA wire, and so you probably will be hearing from the Pope soon, or something about the Pope. Just keep your ears open, and I think Pope's going to make a full recovery, and there's going to be hell to pay when he does. I can guarantee you that. So, he obviously held his event in Florida recently, but Doc ready to take on this question. I could just see it in his eyes. This TV title number
It's a great
4
question.
or equal to the national title.
It's a great question. Gosh, we could spend an hour on this, and maybe we will in the future on this at TIPW show on our history show. The TV, it's apples and oranges. It really is. I mean, I guess if you want to be, when we come to how we rate the contenders for the most prestigious championship trophy in the world, the 10 pounds of gold, there are a couple of schools of thought on this. And one is that, you would put it number 3 behind the national championship, only because the national championship is traditionally the number 1 contender to the world's title. But then there are those that say, well, the TV championship is a world's championship, so it's of a different sort of title. It's parallel to the world's title. Historically, this was the title back in the Crockett promotion days, and even before that, when, in the Mid-Atlantic days and Georgia Championship Wrestling, the TV title was a world title that was always defended on TV. This was to guarantee that the viewing audience would always get to see a world's title match, even when the big prize, the overarching crown, wasn't defended. So some would say that the TV championship is almost, in some strange way, almost parallel to the world title. Others would say that everybody, and I think in the Lightning One era, the way that we've approached this is that this is a stepping stone to the world's championship with the whole Lucky 7 rule. Of course, I think that Tyrus has thrown a wrench into all that when he says, look, I'm disregarding the Lucky 7 rule. I'm defending this title forever. I'm never losing this title. I'm going to make this title as important as that one. But it just, I don't know. I mean, when you go to ranking the titles, you've got at the top of the heap, obviously the 10 pounds of gold and the Burke. They're the same weight, same rank, same championship, one for men, one for women. And then right beneath that, you've got the number 1 contender to that is the national champion. Then you have, upcoming the World's Junior Heavyweight Championship, which is like with the television championship and the World's Heavyweight Championship. It is a world's title. It has world championship rank. It has a different purpose. The World's TV Championship is the world championship that's defended on the show every time, or regularly on the time. The World's Heavyweight Championship is the big prize title. That's the one that's the big dog. And then the Burke, of course, is the most prestigious title in women's wrestling. So it gets really confusing, and I don't know if I'm rambling or making a lot of sense here, but I don't think we need to overthink it, although it's fun to. I think and I like what Devin Dowling said here is, tell Tyrus he's number 4. Exactly. That's my point. In Tyrus's mind, he's the world's champion. He holds the world's television championship. In Trevor Murdoch's mind, he holds the belt that is the lineal championship, which is the thing that's got going for it. It's the one that's revered around the world. Whereas the television championship is a fixture of the NWA. And then, of course, you tell Camille that. Camille will tell you, I don't care who you're talking about, Tyrus or Trevor. I can take both of them. I hold the Burke, which is truly a lineal championship. So it's just good stuff. It's fun to talk about. I can take different positions on this. It's a great question. I would say, you could ultimately you could go two ways on this. Either it's co-equal to the World Championship, or it's probably number 3. Number 1 being the Burke and the 10 pounds of gold side by side. Number 2 being the national championship. Number 3 being the TV championship. They're all great titles. I think anyone in the world would be honored to hold them, and all of them establish and identify yourself as among the elite and best in the world.
Or you could just go with what Devin says here, and you go ahead and tell Tyrus he's number 4. So, yeah, that not a good policy, I would say, in the backstage area. So, yeah, Doc covered his bases there pretty well, I think, so that he doesn't have to take a beating at any point. But you do bring up some interesting points, and another thing we can get into there before we wrap this thing up is Doc's rankings for this week. And we'll start here with the tag team championships in the women's division, which has us with the Hex always sitting at number 1. And I think this is probably not any different than last time. Smiley Dragons, Shittaside and Paola Blaze, Colin King and Red Velvet, Natalia Markova, and Nissa Kate. So the Hex, of course, going to be sitting pretty for a long time to come until they get some challengers that are able to handle them head to head. I can see the Hex holding on to those titles for a long, long time. Also, in the men's division tag team titles, of course, our guest this week, La Rebelion, sitting nicely and firmly at number 1 as the world's tag team champions, followed by their arch nemesis, the End. God, big words from La Rebelion today, fellas. How about that? Just strong enough to take them or strong enough to have everything too weak to take it. Is that what he said? That that got me. And
they are braver men than I am, obviously.
And Stevenson Kratos there at number 3, then the OGK. And look at that, at number 5, we've got a split decision, Hawks Airy and the British Invasion. How about that?
Yeah, I think you got to throw the British Invasion in with that equation. Even though they're recently reformed, they are a legit tag team with longevity, long history, accomplishment. But I think that signature win against Strictly Business, I think you have to now consider these guys a threat, an immediate threat to La Rebellion.
Right. And in the junior heavyweight division, of course, we don't have a champion yet, but right there in the top contendership, Homicide, Austin Aries, Colby Carrino, Kerry Morton, Darius Lockhart. Conspicuous by his absence here, I would say. Man, it's pretty sad. Luke Hawk's not there. You left out Luke Hawk's, but everybody else is in the tournament still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and maybe next week you see Luke Hawk's in there. I think Kerry Morton had the more impressive victory, and then Darius Lockhart had a very impressive victory over Sauronaro. And you saw Darius Lockhart's comments just now. We've seen what he's done. We know his history. We know what he brings to this division. He plans on elevating the junior heavyweight title to an undisputed number 1, and he might just be the guy to fix that, as it were. So
shout out
I
to
stand
Darius
by
in the chat. Thank you for joining us there.
That's everybody's watching, including one of the most elite wrestlers in the world right now, definitely in the junior heavyweight division, Darius Lockhart. So I stand by this. I mean, this is no slight on anybody. We've got a long way to go in this junior heavyweight tournament. At the end of the day, you never know who's going or how this is going to shake out. I just have to say that right now, Kerry Morton's victory over Jamie Stanley was very, very impressive. And Darius Lockhart's victory over Sauronaro, albeit a maybe a distracted Sauronaro. It doesn't matter. We've seen Sauronaro. We've seen Sauronaro come to the brink of a national championship. We've seen Sauronaro come to the brink of a television championship. To me, and this is no shade on PJ Hawks at all, but I think right now, looking at the division, I weigh those victories over Jamie Stanley and Sauronaro very, very heavily. And, you know, if I had more space, I'd throw Luke Hawks right there in there. But we'll see what happens. If Austin Aries and Luke Hawks shakes out differently and Luke Hawks advances, You see him crack into that top 5. You might even see him ascend all the way to number 2 or number 3. But I mean, look at this bracket. Look at this bracket. These are all big time matches with big time contenders with big time ambitions. And just like the tag team division, this world's junior heavyweight division is shaping up to be one of the best and brightest in the world.
Oh, Darius Lockhart saying, then watch what I do against Arya Daivari. So, yeah, we'll have to get Darius on the show here sometime soon and have him speak his mind. He's a lot of fun to talk to for sure. Let's jump into the women's.
If any of you doubt why I put Darius Lockhart up there and not Luke Hawx, I promise you, bring Darius Lockhart on here and he can fix that.
There you go. And in the women's division, Camille, of course, up top. Kiera Hogan firmly behind her. She's got she is the number one contendership to the women's championship, and she'll be having a match. She's guaranteed one here pretty soon. Melina strongly following there. Kylie Ray and Genocide. Doc, of course, leaving out Taryn Terrell because, of course, he would. How could you? Yeah, I'm sad too, Petra. I'm sad too. I disagree.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But yeah, Taryn Terrell's getting a title shot, whether or not Doc likes her or not.
Well, I'm saying all you got to do to change these rankings is win the big one. That's all you got to do. She beats Camille. Guess what? It doesn't matter what Doc thinks. It doesn't matter what Doc thinks anyway. This is only my opinion, which is worth nothing. But if she wins the championship, guess what? Suddenly she holds the belt. She's number one. You know, the best way to avoid a judge's decision is to land the knockout blow and take the judges out of the equation altogether.
Oh, well, I hope Taryn Terrell lands the knockout blow on you at some point.
Hey,
world title.
I'm not even going to go there.
Trevor Murdoch up top on the men's rankings, then Chris Adonis, then Tyrus, then Nick Aldis, and then Sion. So this is how we're looking at the men's rankings. So lots going on there. Let's talk about next week coming up, or tomorrow night, I should say, coming up. NWA Powerrr is back. A big, big show. You've got May Valentine going heart to heart with Kiera Hogan. She's headed for that women's championship, and May Valentine's going to try to get inside her mind a little bit and find out what she's thinking. We're going to see Natalia Markova, Paola Blaze, and Genocide at the podium. They're going to have a lot to say to each other. I know Paola and Natalia haven't been getting along. Has Natalia run up against Genocide yet? I don't think so. So this is going to be pretty interesting because Natalia doesn't seem the kind to back down from anybody, and Genocide certainly is not. So this is,
I don't know. It's easy to talk that game when you're looking in the face of Paola Blaze or somebody, but when you stand in front of the Cyborg, I guarantee your tone's going to be a little bit different.
Well, we're going to find out tomorrow.
Dos Vidania.
Well, yeah, sure. Bless you. Looking at the tag team division here, the Dirty Sexy Boys want revenge against the Ill Begotten. I'm sure they've worked something out to keep the Fixers out of this situation this time around. The Ill Begotten got one over on the DSB, but will that happen again? I doubt they get to pull the same trick twice. So we're going to see what happens when JTG, the God, and Dirty Tango take on one combination or another of these three men, Yuma, Rush Freeman, and Alex Taylor.
It's going to get weird.
On the reg.
605 Fight TV.
And we're going to see a big no disqualification match after his match with Jedias. Sal Renaro with that interference there costed Sion the match. Or no, wait, Sion, I guess, got the win because of a DQ because Sal Renaro was used as a foreign object. And,
that's an understatement.
So yeah, it's against the rules, though. It's against the rules.
And, so now Sion gets Sal Renaro one-on-one in a no DQ match. That is, boy, Sion, he never seems one for jokes. So I'm not sure he's Sal's just. I feel for Sal here.
Doc can tell you it's no DQ, man. I mean, Scion, he travels with a fork apparently. Doc
better
found
hope
out,
he doesn't have that fork.
Yeah, he might have that fork with him.
Yeah, I tell you who else knows that, and that's Gary Horne, who is quick to bounce.
I like to think of it as intelligent. That's what I like.
It's a good spin.
I remember when we were in it was in Grimsley. We went to that Korean barbecue place or that Chinese buffet, and I pulled my fork out, and Gary took off walking or took off running. So I'm starting to think that this might be a phobia that he has.
Well,
you have a fork phobia.
Not forking around with anybody. All right. Oh, man.
Woo,
I'm fire
all night,
tonight.
baby.
Got it.
We're
All
on.
right. Good night, everyone.
Here we go. Roll that beautiful bead footage. All right. No, and then a big world's heavyweight title match. Getting serious here for a second, as Trevor Murdoch is defending the championship one more time against Big Mike Knox. Could we have a new world champion after tomorrow? That's the
We
question.
very well could. We very well could.
Yep, you could. I mean, we saw the Atlanta screw job. Is Trevor going to be able to pull those kinds of shenanigans off again a second time against Mike Knox? I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited anytime we get to see the World's Heavyweight Championship defended on Powerrr. We've seen it a handful of times, so this is a big deal. It's going down in the history books, and everything that we're expecting from here on out may be changed. History may be altered. Mike Knox tomorrow night may walk out your new NWA World's Heavyweight Champion.
All right. I'm seeing a question here. Let's see. The original Dizzy D says Doc is avoiding the if they weren't champions, would they still be in your top 5 question? Are you avoiding questions, Doc?
I mean, no, I'm not avoiding champion. We could talk about top 10 or top 15 or whatever. I mean, we got enough to rate them. Really, the thing that limits me is Will's graphics only allow for us to get 5 on the screen. So
I can make the font smaller.
Yeah, but no one can read it. I mean, they can look.
Well,
I know they can't read it because I've gotten you see my handle there. This is Dr. Stinson. What is that?
I was giving you some theme music.
Oh, you give me theme music. Okay, let's say if someone that's messing with my ADD.
That's the wrong one.
That's messing with my ADD. I'm like, whoa, hey. If the viewing audience could read that, explain to me this: how come every week I lose Twitter followers? You can see my handle right there. It's clear that this is Dr. Stinson. I lose about 10 a week. You guys are at tens and 15s of thousands. I'm like sitting at about 800, which is fine.
I feel like I should have gotten you sadder music. I went with acoustic.
No,
Will's got this music on our list here. And so I was going through it. Acoustic cinematic felt like where you were going with that speech. We could have gone dance pop.
I was about to be turn around every now and then. I think a bit on the bed. I say, but do be dabby do.
It's like a switch flips when we hit an hour 30.
Okay, it's freestyle time. Freestyle time, baby.
Is it?
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide. Meet me on the east side.
Should have never told Gary about the background music feature on this app.
Should have never. Now
For hemorrhaging viewers.
All right, we're hemorrhaging. Well, it's also because we've been going long enough. This one's called Feeding the Ducks.
Give me a cup of coffee, a can of sardines.
Why is this called
I lost
Feeding
my
the
hip
Ducks?
when I joined the Marines. I got a little saying. I say it with glee. Guess what it is? Argue with me. What?
Me.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
If you ever wonder
on
why
that
we just
note,
do podcasts.
We want to thank everybody for coming out and hanging with us here. Well, this is the NWA this week. It's been a lot of fun. Big shout out to La Rebellion. for chilling with us.
To my man, the original Dizzy D with the call out of the night. I like you, bro. I like those hard questions.
All right. Okay.
Who else we
anyway,
shouting out to?
that's
Polka
enough.
Dot Pam.
Let's shout
Let
out
me get
everybody. Let's shout out Bobby in the chat. Devin, Marlon's in the chat. We got Naughty
Noni,
McPotty.
my girl Noni. No, how do you say it, Gary?
Naughty McPotty.
Yeah.
Naughty McPotty, Matt Skills represent. We got Jedi Warrior. Shouting out the Bearded Rap crew.
Word.
Yeah. Yeah, Petra, tell them. Anyway,
That's
thank you
right.
guys
Hold on, let me get
so
Petra in
much.
here. Petra P.S. Stinson.
She was manning the turntables there. That's
Yeah,
where the
she's
music
running
was
the
coming from.
production table.
Hey, put
All
these
right.
on.
Yeah. All right.
There
Perfect.
you go.
Perfect.
All right. Why don't you get over there and wipe that nose? It's distracting me.
Oh, snap.
we're gonna let Doc get back on daddy duty, and we're gonna head out. Thank you guys, every single one of you, for hanging out with us on This Is the NWA. Seriously, we appreciate all of you. We hope you tune in to Powerrr tomorrow night, and we can't wait to see you also at NWA USA at noon on Saturday, and then we'll be back here next Monday with another guest, another show, and everything NWA. So we can't wait to see it. Until that